Hi, everybody. Welcome to AITA Pod. I'm joined by a very special guest today. She's been on the show before, Velo. It's so great to see you again.
Nice to see you. Thank you for having me again. I'm so excited to be back.
It's great to have you back. Last time we left off, if you guys don't remember Velo's tale, she's a longtime friend of mine for, over 10 years. I feel so fucking old these days.
Correct.
I mean... Yeah, we were hanging out in 2008, which was 15 years ago. No, not 2008, 2010. Oh, God, so old. Anyway, you lived in LA. I moved here. You said, Danny's here. This place is done. I'm going to New York. And how's that going for you?
Correct. You were one of the big triggers of me getting out of there. I was like, all right, this place is dusty now, so I can get on out of here.
It's obviously not cool.
Yeah, it's really lost its edge. No, I like New York. I live in beautiful Brooklyn. I've really come to like the train.
You like the subway, huh?
Sometimes, but not when it's actively piss smelling and damp and, you know, all the bad things you hear about the train.
So there is a classic New Yorker question, and you can kind of put this in your toolbox, but it's what's the worst thing you've seen on the subway? Do you have a good answer?
So I haven't been like accosted or I haven't seen anything crazy, but I did see one of those breakdancing guys on the train, like that spins around on the. Yeah, is that what
that's called? Showtime. Yeah.
Yeah, like spins around on the bars. I saw him smack his head on it while doing the show. And I was more like just shocked. And then I was more shocked that he didn't get any more money for that. Not that I gave him any money, because, I mean, it's New York. I really feel like they should have a Venmo sign, like carrying cash. I just don't buy it. In New York, I don't know.
I don't know that I ever saw that. That's interesting. A Showtime kind of blooper. I will tell you this. I lived in New York for 9 years. I like to say 10 to impress people, but it's 9.
Sure.
And over that time, I did see human feces twice, which wasn't my favorite part of the city. But then I walked around downtown LA for 45 minutes and I saw human feces twice. So there's certain things that LA does do better than New York. Don't listen to the haters.
And that's human shit?
Yeah.
That's interesting. I have seen plenty of human shit out here, but it's often by parks. So like I'm torn. Is it dog or is it human?
You never know. It could be a frail human or a big dog.
Sometimes I really don't know. And sometimes I need like a friend that I can take a picture of and be like, you got to see this.
Yeah, I'm not that. I don't like to get poop pictures.
Okay.
So
that was me fishing. So yeah.
No, the answer is no. So you love, but you like New York.
I love that in New York, I can leave at any time. Like in LA, it's a whole thing. Like you got to like say goodbye to people. In New York, if you just leave, no one's like, hey, you just can like get on a train and just leave. And I also like that.
Like a gathering?
More so like bar, like, yeah, more than like 3 people. You can just like leave.
Okay. I don't know that I ever observed this. I'm not cool like you. So you'll just go.
Yeah. Like when I've had enough.
So Irish exiting is normal. That's what I've heard this term before.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would think so. I think here in New York, it's just like, all right, I'm leaving. Like you just leave. What else do I like? I like the idea too that you can, and I don't think you drink still, right? You're still sober?
Yeah, I don't drink.
Yeah, what I like about New York is like I can text somebody and be like, hey, let's just go grab a drink at like this bar, and it's super easy. It's not like in LA where it's like, well, I'm busy till like 5:30 and then I gotta go home and get my car, and then I can meet you at like 7:38. In New York, everyone has like no schedule.
Interesting. Okay, so you can just kind of spontaneously meet up and then spontaneously leave. It sounds like a lot of this is centered around drinking.
Okay.
No, I'm asking. It's foreign to me, Velo. I don't judge you. Hey, it's your life.
No, I mean, yeah, it's a lot. Yeah, I do drink a little bit more often in New York. I think that the culture's like pretty heavy on meeting at a bar.
Well, I mean, that's one of the great perks of the city is that it has a functioning public transportation system. And is that facilitating alcoholism? Sure, but nobody's drunk driving. I think it's great.
Correct.
Not that you're an alcoholic.
No, I mean, I haven't driven a car in a year, so that's also a fun thing.
You know, it's probably just the narrowness of my experience, but I've never known a lesbian alcoholic, so I'm almost excited at the prospect.
Oh, they're out there.
They're out there, huh?
Not me though.
Not you.
Not me though. Nah.
So
They're out there.
you are a lesbian, but I think you're still feeling it out. You were telling me, it's relatively new because you said you were a lesbian in the last pod, but then you said you came back.
No. I said I was bi in the last.
Oh,
podcast.
you said on the podcast that you were bi. Oh,
Correct.
Okay. I didn't remember it that way. Okay, but now you feel you've gone full blown L all the way.
Yeah, a lot of it had to do with family issues. I was worried that like my mom would find out and hate me forever, and like I was worried about all that stuff. And when I did tell my mom, she was like, "Yeah, I knew." It's like, oh, okay. It turned out to be easier. But then once I told her, then I felt much more comfortable telling whoever I wanted.
So you're in this exciting new city. Congrats on that. I mean, I'm really happy for you, but you've been in this relationship, so your sexuality is almost trivial at this point, right? Because you've been in this long distance relationship for 2 years.
Correct. Yeah. I have been dating a girl back in LA. We are doing long distance, but we've been long distance for like a year because we were dating before I left, and my job essentially was like, hey, we want to give you a promotion, but you have to move, and you have like 3 weeks to tell us if you want to move. And I was like, ugh. But it kind of had to be like a no-brainer. Like I had to take the promotion. The marketing team needed me.
I would love it if you were my colleague, because I hate when people take their jobs too seriously. It's like sickening for me. So, okay. You're in a long distance. You've been distant for 1 year. I think the key LDR situation, there's kind of two big questions that linger over these things, which is how long can we stand this for, and what's going to happen when this ends? In other words, is the distance going to end, or is the relationship going to end? How are you feeling about those?
So we have a plan to, try and live together, hopefully by next summer.
In New York.
Where that I don't know. Like I'm not pressed to stay in New York. It's been fun. It's been real. I feel like New York, you can come and live here for a year, and that's the full experience. I don't think it gets like much better after 2 years. You just become more desensitized, and then it's just a place you live. Like it loses the sparkle.
I'm with that. I think there's definitely a magic couple of years where you walk out of the subway into Manhattan and you're like, oh my God, it's so amazing.
Yeah. I've definitely hit that. Like if you walk through like some parts in like Brooklyn, like through the brownstones in the fall, and you see like all the leaves, you're like, oh my God.
New York in the fall.
Yeah, it's great. But like, I don't necessarily need to spend more than 2 years here. It's too expensive. And I think I'm really like ready for suburbia.
I'm at that same place. I mean, we're about the same age. I think it starts to happen in the mid 30s where you go, you know what? The big city's won. I don't need it. I want a big house. I want a jacuzzi. This is me. And I don't know why. I don't know what got in my head, but I think I want 2 golden retrievers. I don't know why. I've been stuck on this lately.
I love that. I want a big dog, and I also want one of those ice baths. I've never done that in my life, but I feel like that's like a very fun, like, I'm rich thing that you can have.
I don't know about the formal ice bath products. I do have a crazy child-free cousin, and he manually creates his own ice bath by like ordering ice off of like Postmates or whatever. It's not cheap. And it's a tremendous Rubbermaid basin. And the first time I did it, Velo, I lasted 1 minute. The second time I did it, I vowed to do better. I ran a 10K. This is when I was in my running days. And I jumped into the ice bath after running, and I lasted 8.5 minutes in that thing. And it was a very, very powerful experience. I recommend it to all.
Wow.
It's great. Now, he would not let me go right into the hot tub. You need to you got to transition. Otherwise, some kooky, crazy stuff can happen. Hey, this is great. You should move back. Listen, I was thinking about going to Palm Springs. Move to Palm Springs. We'll hang out. I'll be hot tub house. You be cold tub house. Boom. You got the whole fucking situation.
I like Palm Springs. I need something even more suburban. I need more chain restaurants.
Oh God. Are you going to go to Bakersfield or something?
I'm thinking North Carolina.
Oh, no, not that coast.
I'm out of here. Like, I'm out of California and New York. You guys can take all this expensive housing, and me and my Vizsla and my, I don't know what other big dog I get. We'll be fine.
What is that, a Vizsla?
It's a beautiful golden hunting dog. It's
A Vizsla?
Yeah, Vizsla.
Vizsla. Oh, these things kind of looks like a hairless golden retriever.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm not
they're
very.
definitely not.
You're the dog company girl.
It's correct.
Well, Vilo, it's always so good to see you guys. We're gonna do some situations here. I'm excited about this. Our second situation of the day. AITA, my dog pooped on the sidewalk that happened to be in front of a cafe in New York City. Owner was not happy. Technically not a question, but we'll allow it. But first, we're going to go to LDR Lane. I think long distance relationships, we haven't covered them too much on the pod. I was in one for a while, so we'll see where it takes us. Guys, please rate, review, subscribe. Join us on Patreon, patreon.com/AITA pod. You know, unless you've been my friend for something like 14 years, I mean, Vilo is a very select group of friends. She knew Drinking Danny. You did.
I absolutely did know that guy.
Changing the topic. You could do a call-in show much like this. You could do a show with me. I would love to see you. So join us on Patreon, patreon.com/AITA pod. Please rate, review, subscribe. Here we go. Would I be the asshole if I go on a trip a week after my long distance BF comes to live with me? My boyfriend, male 30, and I, F27, have been together for almost 3 years. The last 3/4 of a year, we've been long distance on different continents because I went back to university. We planned for him to move to my country in the fall. Now, I'm almost finished with school and there's a trip planned for 4 days to a neighboring country. I'd really want to go because it might be the last chance to go with school and my friends there. The problem is that trip is scheduled a week after my boyfriend would arrive. I asked him, and while he doesn't want to tell me no, he's hurt as I would be putting friends and fun above him. I wouldn't go on a trip if he'd just come for a visit, obviously, because that time would be short. But since he's coming permanently, I feel we have enough time for each other after. So would I be the asshole if I went on that trip?
That's tough. I feel like there's a lot of stuff that lingers there, right? Like, is he friends with her friends?
Well, he can't be, right? He lives on a different continent.
Doesn't mean when he's come to visit that they haven't met her friends.
Yeah, they might be acquainted. You know, I don't think they're friends per se, but you know, she doesn't want to bring him. I think that's understandable.
I think that I would probably end up not going on the trip. So
okay.
I think she's the asshole. Yeah.
Wow, you're jumping right for the verdict. You little.
I mean.
She's a New Yorker now, people.
Yeah, like, you know. But I just think, like, he's moving all the way across. He's barely getting his stuff set up. Like, it's kind of too fresh to, like, go.
I can understand that intuition. I have to say, I'm maybe looking at this through very single glasses, but I have to say, I find this to be something that will feel like a big deal then. But from kind of my single perspective, I'm like, you guys have lived separately from each other for a long time. And now you're on a trip. And let me just say, I don't think this is just a mundane trip. I actually think this is a pretty significant trip. Okay. These are students, right? They're students. What were they? It might be the last chance to go to hang out with the friends that she goes to school with. Right. That's what she said.
Why would it be the last chance? Literally,
well, because they're all going to go. Well, because they're all finished with school. Because I'm sure a lot of them don't live there. You know, people go to different schools. You know, people move away after school. You and I lived in Arizona, and then we moved to the coast, and now we're tired, and we want to live near Applebee's and hot tubs and cold plunges. You know, people move after school, Vilo.
Yeah, I guess it's tough. I don't know. Maybe she's not the asshole, but I do think you're right. It's a lot more like leading up to it would be really probably pretty shitty between the two. And then on day 4 of her trip, and when she comes back, they'll probably both be like, not too bad. That wasn't too bad.
That wasn't too bad. It's nothing. And I love that you went there because I want to go even farther. I think a helpful exercise for yourself, for any situation really, is try to visualize how you're going to feel later in this situation. You know what I mean? I love that. We go right after this. I don't think this is going to be that big of a deal after. But let's go 6 months after. You guys have spent all this fucking time basically spoon feeding this relationship with a long distance. 6 months after he lives there, and you're going to have your first fucking fight about fuck you. You put the spoons where the forks go, you stupid fuck. And let me tell you, this trip not being there is going to actually be upsetting. It should have been there. This was a good trip. This is a rare opportunity for a trip. You guys are going to find mundanity. I promise you. You're going to be sick of each other. I don't think she's remotely an asshole. I understand why he's being touchy, but like, let's fucking go.
Yeah, I mean, also like that's good. He can set up all his little Pop Funko toys while she's away.
That's a good point. Isn't there like I like that you don't even know what they're called. Funko Pops? You know, somebody sent me a Funko Pop. Shout out to Lindsay. I have a Dead Mouse Funko Pop against my will. And somebody made a Danny Funko Pop as well. So I actually have 2 Funko Pops. God damn it. Anyway.
Wow.
I don't know if it would take me 4 days to set those up, but I feel like you're right. I feel like, look, I think being in an LDR, I'm not speaking for you. I'll speak for me though, Velo. When I was in that thing, it actually sucked a lot of my energy away because I was codependent. And it wasn't necessarily because of the long distance relationship. It's because that's how I was wired. But I think it really stunted my growth. Like I wasn't pursuing other relationships, friendships as well. And one thing that I've really come to realize in my singledom is you really need develop friend groups. You really, really need it. It's like, it's the sauce, baby. I have friends who are married and we talk and I'm like, it sounds like you really just need to vibe with your friends. Like your partner can only give you so fucking much.
That's fair. That's totally fair. But I think there's like, I don't know, like some romantic thing about too, like moving to her city and then like spending that first couple of weeks, like spending time together in the city.
But they're gonna have months and months and years and all this time, you know. I just feel like this is a rare thing, and for these reasons, Velo, I'm trying to bring you in here. Would I be the asshole if I go on a trip a week after my long distance BF comes to live with me? I think he needs to accept, and you all need to look backwards. You need to put in your heads looking forward and look backwards and realize, I think this is an important trip. I think it is going to be a lonely couple days for him. He's getting a week. He's going to fuck your brains out. It's going to be fantastic. And then good, a little bit of absence makes the heart grow fonder. You guys have spent 3/4 of a goddamn year away. You'll survive.
Correct. I guess you're right, because actually like him getting upset about it is like feels more selfish than like her going on the trip when I like take a couple steps away. Like,
I like that. I don't think he's an asshole. I think it's a very understandable impulse, but I think he needs to challenge himself. Maybe he could go explore whatever. I think this is in Europe, but go explore
Great point.
Europe.
Yeah, great point.
All right, so I think we do agree it's no assholes here.
Yeah, I'm changing my vote.
Yes.
Right, no assholes here.
Boom, I got one on Velo. Guys, please join us on patreon.com/AITA pod. Over 170 bonus episodes. Please rate, review, subscribe. Much love for all y'all. Let's go to New York, folks. Here we go. AITA. My dog pooped on the sidewalk that happened to be in front of a cafe in New York City. Owner was not happy. Not the strongest title we've ever done on the show. I had an experience I'm not sure about. I was walking my dog on a commercial street filled with small businesses in Queens, New York. Was this written by ChatGPT? What kind of way is this to talk? You were on a fucking street, man. I had just come from the vet and my dog, a beagle, had been pretty nervous, so I thought a little walk would be nice. As we're walking, my dog suddenly stops and poops in the middle of the sidewalk. Now, this isn't ideal for him to go there, and usually he tries to find a grassy spot, but apparently he needed to go, and this was where he was going. The spot he chose to go on the sidewalk happened to be in front of a cafe, about 4 feet in front of it. I didn't think much of it or even notice what business it was. I got out a poop bag to pick it up. I picked up the poop in the dog bag and tied a knot. There was a small amount of residue that I couldn't get off the sidewalk. I wasn't sure how to avoid it. Just as we were about to continue walking, someone pops out the door, who I assume is the owner, and says in a rude tone, "This is a business. Do not let your dog poop here. He should have pooped over there," pointing to the curb. I didn't know how to respond. And I think I mustered something like, okay, this is the sidewalk. This is where he stopped to go. I didn't feel like I should apologize for anything, so I didn't. I was more annoyed than anything. I turned and left without further engaging with this person. I noted the shop and made a mental note to never visit it. Oh, shut up, OP. You were never going to go in there. You were never going to go in that weird shop. Just for
I like European bistro voice you did in Queens or whatever place this is.
Right.
Voice you gave it. Yeah, in Queens.
Just for a better visual, this cafe has no outdoor seating. This is just a sidewalk in front of the cafe. Yeah, we got it. I'm not sure what I could have done differently. I picked up the poop. The owner didn't need to come out and say anything. They don't own the sidewalk. It's New York. We all share the sidewalk. AITA.
I guess I need to know how much residue. If there's enough that it can take another scrape will satisfy man, maybe I'll do it, because I don't want to walk away with like feeling like this guy's pissed at me.
Well, I think we can give OP the benefit of the doubt that they tried to get rid of it. You know more about dogs than me. Yeah.
But I've seen some really lame attempts at picking up dog shit. I've seen some actually fake attempts, like where they just fake pick it up and still throw the bag away and leave the poop on the ground. What that's about, I have no idea.
What about horse poop? I always see horse poop around. I'm like, are horses just allowed to shit? You ain't got to clean that up?
Yeah, that's fair game. That's in the streets.
That just goes, huh?
That just goes. And that's
Wild.
the cops leaving it. So,
I mean, look, I got to say, it is a cafe. Does OP say they don't have outdoor seating? No, this cafe has no outdoor seating. I am a little bit like, did the owner really do anything wrong? I mean, he said a thing. I guess it's a little presumptuous, but you're bringing up the residue. The owner didn't bring up the residue. The owner is saying the dog pooped in the wrong place. I do think that's a little ridiculous.
yeah, sure. Like, yeah,
Hey.
the dogs, this is New York. Dogs take shits on sidewalks all day. That's just like what they have to do. There is no other option. Sir, I'm sorry this happened in front of your restaurant. I tried my best to pick it up. I have things to do.
I mean, I feel like OP tried their best. I'm giving them residue. Maybe you're right. Maybe they didn't get the residue, but like, dog's gonna shit where dog's gonna shit. They cleaned up the poop. I really don't know. Like, I think the owner could have said like, hey, next time if you get a shot, could you try not to poop just right in front of my cafe? I feel like that's reasonable, but to kind of come at it like OP did something wrong, it's like, well, do you not know how dogs work, sir?
Yeah. And did he have one of those little signs that say like, do not poop, or like, you know what I mean? Like there's like certain like that, like don't allow that, or like try and shun it. But I don't know. I think if she tried to pick it up, she tried to pick it up. Unless it just really was just like a horrible mess. I have seen a friend also whose dog had bad diarrhea, like liquid. And this was in New York, and she tried her best to pick up the chunks, but like the stream was, still there.
I see. Here's the thing. I'm like, okay, so am I to expect a dog owner to bring a whole diarrhea kit whenever they walk their dog? I think that's ridiculous. It's a rare circumstance. If it's so important to you in your little cafe that the sidewalk outside be pristine and you live in goddamn New York City, I think we know who it's on to clean that thing up. It's you, my man.
Yeah, correct. Because he's lucky that he even saw her. Otherwise, it had just been another poop on the sidewalk, and he just wouldn't have gotten mad. So, like, he just finally caught someone and was gonna finally yell at somebody about it.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, you gotta let that one go. Or maybe you just say something and then
Yeah, I guess I feel like coming at it with any kind of condescension is just so ridiculous. If he had said like, hey, in the future, could you try? I would be like, all right, he's just kind of trying to save himself some work. But to come at it high and mighty, I'm like, fuck you. Here's a story. One time I was in London, Piccadilly Circus. I think that's what that's called. Mm-hmm. And I was walking around and I seen this shop and there was like a little dog there. And he was like kind of walking around the store. And I was just like, come here, boy. Come here, boy. Come here. And the dog wasn't coming. The dog did nothing. And then the owner comes out, and somehow I still do not know how he did this, but for a full minute and a half monologue to me, saying only this information. It's a dog then. Like, it's a dog. And you're whistling, so it's a dog then, right? He's not coming, so he's not coming. It's a dog then, right? Yeah, he's a dog. He's a canine. He's a dog. He's there. You're whistling. He's not coming. And he just kept saying for 90 seconds where I was literally looking at him. I'm like, he's still saying the same fucking thing. It's kind of impressive.
It was a dog.
He was right. It was a dog. I was whistling. The dog wasn't coming. I mean, he had the events down pat. And I thought it was one of the craziest things that's ever happened to me. I was like, I lived in New York and nobody's ever been that repetitive to me. It was like a Grand Theft Auto character just stuck on her loop.
Yeah, at some NPC.
Yeah.
Caught in a thing.
There we go.
I will say this, though. I bet that girl thinks super differently every time her dog shits in front of, like, restaurants. It's, like, left some weird burn on her.
Yeah, I'm happy you brought us there because it is something that I think if you can avoid, if it's a cow, especially if they have outdoor seating, it's like, yeah, you're fucking up their restaurant space. Like, try to get your dog away. I mean, I would feel bad. I don't have a dog, but I think if my dog took even a piss, I would feel like I'm obligated to help with the situation, especially like a stinky piss. Ugh.
Yeah. My coworker had a full pizza and was walking through New York with their dog. Their dog took a shit. They realized they had no bags, had nothing to pick it up. She used a slice of pizza.
That is one of the most, that's hilarious. That is one of the most New York things I've ever heard. I love that for her.
Yep. I love that story. And I just can see it. And I know you probably you probably flipped the pizza over.
Yeah.
Because curiosity would get the best of you.
Oh, she looked at it?
I would.
No, I wouldn't look.
I guess it would probably ruin the rest of the pizza, huh?
No, I don't want to see it.
Well, I probably would. And then I'd be like, wow, this is fucked up.
What a classic New York story. I love that. AITA, dog pooped on the sidewalk that happened to be in front of a cafe. I think we ultimately agree that the owner, she kind of stepped out a little hard here. I don't think this was necessary. You can't be sanctimonious about this. I think it's a soft NTA and a soft he is. You didn't really do anything that bad. He just kind of hollered.
Yeah. If he if there was more, if he chased her down or something like that, then yes, be a little bit of a different story.
That would be insane. All right, guys, we're going to wrap up on this one. Here we go. AITA for choosing our family dog over a friend hard on his luck. Me, 32M, my wife, 30F, and our 2 daughters, both under 5, live in a decent-sized apartment. Not grand or anything, but big enough for us to host another person for a limited amount of time that it wouldn't be a burden. There's square feet. There's other information you could have given us, OP, but fine. It's big enough to host another person for a limited amount of time. Recently, a friend of mine, 28M, that I've known for a few years from an old job, is going through a divorce, has asked me for a place to stay. I talked it over with my wife, and she has no problems with him staying with us. When I told him he could stay, he was so grateful, but then told me to let him know once we got rid of our dog and deep clean the home because he has a severe dog allergy. We didn't know about this as it's never been an issue. We always hung out at a mutual friend's house, work, the bar, double dates, restaurants. There's no dogs there. I told him we wouldn't be able to get rid of our dog as he's part of our family and he's getting older and honestly it would just devastate our girls. He's now running around bad-mouthing us to our friend group for taking back our offer for him to stay with us and choosing a dog over his health. I've been receiving multiple calls saying that I'm the asshole for not helping him. AITA.
My mouth dropped as you read this, as you read that they should put their dog somewhere else. So this guy who's poor guy down on his luck, but now this dog has to go stay somewhere else. I find that incredible, a crazy request, absolutely absurd. No, you cannot stay here. Actually, then
it's pretty staggering entitlement. It's I would already just feel so heinously guilty, staying at a friend's house for any sustained period of time. To ask them to get rid of their dog, I'm like, God damn, bro.
Thank you so much for opening your home to me. Just let me know when you have your dog out and you guys have gone ahead and deep cleaned that room. Just let me know.
Who are you? I'll have what you're having because it sounds shameless as shit, bro.
Yeah. I could never imagine being in that headspace, to be yeah, appreciate it, but yeah, you got to get rid of that dog.
Thanks a lot. Here's my rider. I want a big bowl of M&Ms and a little stuffed elephant.
Yeah, if your wife could make sure dinner's ready at 6 too.
Yeah.
I like to eat early.
And I'm vegan, so keep it clean.
Yeah.
Really wild.
I can't imagine. And how dare he badmouth them? I would love to be on the receiving side of this story. Let's try my friend.
Let's try it.
Yeah. Okay.
Velo, yeah, I lost my apartment. It sucks. So this though. I try to stay with our buddy, Jimmy. I hit Jimmy up. He goes, "You're welcome to stay here. You know I'm allergic to cats." I was like, "Jimmy, come on, get rid of the cat, deep clean the house. I'll move right in." He goes, "No, we're not getting rid of the cat." Can you believe this asshole? Can you believe this piece of shit?
Actually, I can, and I stand with the cat.
You stand with the cat?
You can stay at my place.
Oh, really? You don't have a cat? You're like, I would totally stand up to this, but then I would accommodate that person anyway.
No, I would never. I'd actually be like, I'd probably actually be like, wait a minute, you want them to get rid of their pet so you can move in for a couple of days? Like, I just like, I can't wrap my head around it. Like, I would just be so appalled. I would probably not be friends with that person. That would be like the end of our friendship. Especially, would they say they were a work friend? Those come and go. Oh, yeah. Work friends are a dime a dozen. Who needs them? Yeah.
But
sorry to any work friends that listen to this.
They don't. Of course they don't. They don't give a fuck.
They might.
Maybe your work friends, not mine. I think it's an interesting question, though. I'm interested in, would you live in a studio? You do not have an apartment really to host another person. But if your friend was down and out, would you give them a couple nights at your house? How would you feel about that?
I'm letting somebody stay here next week for the Drake concert. So I will let you know. And this is like a one room with no walls, and they're staying for 3 days. So, and I haven't really had people over just because like it is a studio. Like there's no way we're going to sit on my couch next to each other. Like, I don't know. So I am opening my home to someone. And they are not down and out, but they're not getting a hotel.
Well, that's very generous of you. Are you going to Drake with them?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Of course.
Well, I think that's kind of a Drake. It's kind of a Drake weekend. I think that's going to be fine.
Yeah. They're not making me make any accommodations for them.
No, I ain't doing no accommodations. You're staying at my place. Forget about it. That's the accommodation. You're lucky to stay here.
This is New York. I could be renting this air mattress out for $600.
Oh, easily. And you're gonna put an air mattress like in your kitchen area, I'm guessing?
Well, it's all one area, so
fair enough.
So I'll be putting an air mattress in my home.
I think that's great. You know, I can get down for like, I really don't like to be in a space where there's no kind of walls, but I can put on loud white noise. This was a nightmare though. One time I went on a trip with a friend. He goes, "Oh, I can't do white noise." I was like, "Yes, you fucking can do white noise. It's white noise. It doesn't mean nothing." He wouldn't do it.
So I have the same experience, right? I was staying with a friend up here in New York before I moved. And she was like, let's put on white noise. And I was like, what for? Why do you need that? She was like, just trust me. Like, it's just like it's amazing. And I was like, yeah, whatever. And at first it just sounded like just like literal noise to me. But then like it changed my life. And now I have a white noise machine and it's my preferred method of sleeping.
I think it's so great because people don't realize, like, if you're in a room that's completely silent, there's no white noise, then literally somebody dropping a quarter will wake you up. Like, it's insane. A mouse having a thought will wake you up. Like, you need some white noise.
Yeah, I also live across the street from a park. So between 6 and 9 a.m. is off-leash hours. So the dogs come in there at 6 a.m. and literally are screaming. So the white noise machine helps break that, makes that a little bit easier to digest. But that is their time to bark, and they are out there barking. So, but I'm thankful.
It's a great thing. I mean, I don't have a white noise machine. I have a loud fan and an AC, and I sleep like with my head pretty much right by it. But sometimes I'll take a nap and I kind of forget to turn the fan on or the AC, you know, one of those Cali naps. It's like 3 p.m., beautiful day. And I don't really have, my window setup is pretty janky. Like a pillow is kind of covering part of the window. It's just like, it's not really insulated. And I've been woken up by a guy going, just like hawking a loogie. It's awful. Probably my least. It feels like I'm about to be spit on.
It could have been into your air conditioner.
Yeah, well, and then I had a pit bull. I was taking care of a pit bull for a while. And I was like, my cousin, my crazy child-free cousin, wow, he's coming up a lot today. He's like, you got to sleep with a pit bull. It's a different experience. He really said that. What do you make of that as a dog? You work for this dog GPS company.
Oh yeah. I'm like super pro sleeping with your dog. Like, and I also think it's very. Oh yeah. I slept with my old dog his whole life. Like and like anybody I ever dated too, I made it very kind of clear, like early on, like, hey, just to let you know, my dog like sleeps on the bed, and he may try and get up here. I'm super pro sleeping with your dog.
Yeah, I forgot about your dog. Now it's all coming back to me. Carlo, an Italian Greyhound. You guys, I don't really know.
He's dead.
He did pass. I don't really know how to explain it though. That dog was a person in a way that few like. And it's weird because like normally small dogs are kind of fucking morons. I felt like Carlo was really smart and present.
He was. May God help him on his journey in dog heaven.
He was just always with you. Is that why he acted like such a person? Like he was always right by your side, right? Like you would drive around with him. You would take him everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah. He never, other dogs didn't give a shit about. Dog toys didn't give a shit about. Like he just wanted to hang out with me and eat whatever I was eating.
That's so cute.
And he, lived to be 17 and a half and ate every bad thing that you can think of. He once ate a foot-long Subway sandwich. Mind you, he was like 12 pounds. He ate the foot-long. He left the tomatoes and the pepperoncinis, but ate the whole thing.
Wow, he really said fuck the tomatoes. He doesn't like that moist mix.
I'm kind of with him. I don't know what as I've gotten older, I realized tomatoes can really bog down a sandwich.
God, he ate the whole foot-long, Vila? What was his reaction after? That's so much food.
He's fine. He once ate a Sonic chili cheese dog, too. He was unstoppable.
I can't believe that's so much food. Oh, Carlos. So you would sleep. What the end of that story is I couldn't feel comfortable because I was afraid the pit bull would jump out of the window, that it wouldn't realize that, this was basically just a pillow blocking the window. Would you cuddle Carlo as you slept? Like, I don't really understand how people do that.
He's a big leg sleeper. And I'm a side sleeper. So like he'll just fit right in behind my knees.
That's so cute.
It was a great thing. And just a little bit of knowledge is that like, that's also what the dogs would do for like pharaohs and Egyptians, is like they would have these small dogs to sleep with to keep them warm.
Wow.
To keep the dogs to keep the humans warm.
That's adorable. Well, needless to say, the entitlement here is through the roof. Do you need to let your friend sleep at your studio apartment if Drake's in town and you're both going? I don't think you do. But you definitely don't need to get rid of your dog for some guy who's down and out. No way. AITA for choosing our family dog over a friend, hard on his luck. I think we agree wholeheartedly. I think it's not the asshole he is because he had to go talk smack.
Yeah, the friend is the ultimate asshole. He'd have to like pay for a boarding thing for the dog. Ugh. The owner of the dog would. I don't understand this. Why it's going to cost this person money to have you stay with them. Like Insane. You need to be like, if you're staying with somebody, you need to make it easier on them, like not harder.
100%. Vilo, speaking of having guests, it's been an absolute pleasure. It's always good to see you. It's always good to get the updates. And thanks so much for doing the show.
Of course. Thanks for having me. It was fun.
All right, guys. We'll see you next time. Bye.